Hello folks, welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West with the GNE TV. At this show, like we said for 1 million times already, that we pay attention to all issues, including major issues, of course. There are more small issues rather than major issues, but without the resolution of the major issues, the small issues will still be everywhere. Okay, now, right now, it is a moment, the whole world is mourning for the passing away of a great man, great leader, Mandela. I would say he's a hero of our time, standing against discrimination, racial discrimination. Lots of people say discrimination is only in some area such as South Africa. But my question is discrimination diminished or disappeared in our country? In Southern California? In cities nearby? In areas around you? The answer is no, right? Joining me is a good friend of mine, Mr. Wild Chang, attorney at law, also a candidate for school board board of the school district of Roland High. Mr. Wild Chang, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Today we're taking the Kelly Thomas case, for example, which is a living example, even though the character is dead already, to indicate that discrimination is still there, if not stronger. It is still there. It is still there in a way that existed legally. That's the worst part. That's the worst part. So I would rather give the opportunity to my guest, Mr. Zhang, to give us a briefing. Because, you know, even though I have been talking about this case for about no less than 20 shows, 20 different shows, there are still people who just turn on the TV, who happen to see my show for the first time. For them, here is the briefing by Mr. Wild Chang about the case, what exactly it is.
Thank you. I think briefly, before I would like to answer, I also would like to show my personal respect for Mr. Mandela for having achieved a lot for the mankind. Now, coming back to Kelly Thomas, I did some research on this case, and I discovered that back in 2011, on July 5th, he's actually a very quiet person, although with mental disease. That means he has a contradictory personalities. He cannot make up his mind.
Split personalities, yes.
He actually has a nice family, but he chose to live not as a homeless person. That's his personal choice. And I reviewed the video tape almost like 31 minutes, and I discovered he was quiet, harmless, and compliant to the police investigation. As you know, under the American constitutional law, under the Fourth Amendment, no police can stop and frisk any person unless there's a reasonable suspicion of a crime being committed.
All right, good. All right. Good point.
So
point number one.
You can't even stop and frisk a person unless.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I look at the video, I did not see any grounds even to establish there's a reasonable suspicion.
Okay. Yeah, before we go into the details, we basically tell our audiences that about that summer evening, July the 5th of 2011, in the city of Fullerton, of Southern California, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, this person, this character, Kelly Thomas, is they call him a landmark of Fullerton because he's been there on the same spot for the past, from 2011.
Oh, okay.
From that past 25 years. The whole city.
So known to the community.
Everybody knew him. Prior to that, he heard nobody.
No criminal records.
No criminal record
whatsoever.
And just on record is a person with some mental problem called split personality or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know the medical term exactly for that. And plus that very night he did nothing. And it was end up in the long process. Anyway, make a long story short, 6 of Fullerton PD officers beat him on the spot within 30-something minutes, no, 25 minutes, the net beating time, to just kill him on the spot.
Reduce him to a piece of meat.
Oh, yeah, sure. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Yeah, go back to your story.
Now, so I reviewed the videotape. Under the Fourth Amendment, it's very clear. There are two levels. One is whether or not you can stop, as a police, stop any person on the street and frisk, means to fumble through and see with any weapon, carry any weapon. But that has to be, you must have a reasonable suspicion. Now, in order to search, that requires another level requirement. That means you must have a probable cause. They're even stronger than reasonable suspicion.
In other words, why you search?
That's right, before you can seize. And as I saw the video, the police stopped the person and actually engaged in a lengthy discussion, a conversation of 15 minutes. And they showed there was no violence. This person was compliant. He even allowed the police to get into his backpack to search. That was already an ongoing violation there.
There was nothing there. There was nothing
no confrontation whatsoever. And then the police was even sitting on a bench chatting with him. That showed there was absolutely no danger. All right, no threat whatsoever posed by this Mr. Thomas at that moment. And there were 2 policemen there, one in the back, one in the front, confronting him and trying to find excuses to attack him. And until that moment, they tried to basically put a handcuff on him. He tried to run away. At that moment, the police used the billy club to hit him. And then put him on the ground, joined by 4 additional policemen.
4, yes.
All right?
Altogether, 6
non-stop hitting, clubbing on his head. Shortly after that, he was praying really for life, for help, as he couldn't even breathe. So just imagine 6 giants, right? Clambering and sitting on that and clubbing constantly. So by the time the paramedics came here, it became a piece of meat, virtually lifeless.
I believe,
away and died 5 days later.
I believe you can see on the big screen the before and after. The before and after of this poor Kelly Thomas. And you can tell how many hits he has received. According to the record, according to the recording, the police officers, the 6 of them, used the batons, used tasers,
clubs,
and used even the hand, the fist. While in the process of beating, one of the officers named last name Cincinnati, right? He put his gloves on purposely to hit him, and it says, "This I'll F you up," while putting. So this is the way police force were applied to a situation of non-violence, to a guy of non-criminal, to activity or to a situation that produces no imminent danger to anybody else. Now you're attorney, you tell me who is the criminal?
The 2 policemen. I think there was Deputy Ramos and Deputy Cincinnati, and then 4 additional who joined in. Initially, they just stood there, and then they claim on and joined in and get on the person. They are all criminals.
And in the process, whole process.
And only as of today, 2 were prosecuted, right? And then 1 year later, another
charge. That's it.
Yes. But what about the other 3? Every police owes a duty to prevent a crime being committed. And that's the crime actually committed by multiple deputies at that moment.
And then during the process of beating, All Kelly Thomas did was that crying for help.
Yes.
He cried, help, help, help.
To breathe. He said, I couldn't breathe.
I couldn't breathe. And I can't breathe, something like that. And then till the very last moment, he said, Dad, Dad, Dad. He was crying for
a family help.
All right. Why? Why would them beat him? Why would him not let him leave? Because he is one of the vulnerables? Because of hate. There's a hate crime, isn't it? There's a hatred there. Deep, profound hatred in the minds of the officers. Otherwise, you tell me what should be.
I think another big problem is the police system. How a police is produced in this country.
Yeah, of course. We'll talk about
fundamental problem.
Yeah, of course, we will talk about that part.
Probably many people know that.
Sure. Hold on. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we will find out. Of course, we need to find out where those guys were from. How come they pick up those kind of guys to represent the police department as the police force? So, stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the discussion, the very, very sad discussion, especially at the moment when we were mourning about the passing away of Mandela. We have to pick up examples, living example for Southern California around us in a beautiful city called Fullerton, whereby a homeless guy, Mr. Kelly Thomas, was beaten to death on the spot in the city of Fullerton, July the 5th, on 2011. Okay, joining me is my good friend, attorney at the law, Mr. Wise Chang, and we are talking about the moment. At this very moment, the case is going through the jury process, right? And lots of statements, lots of explanations, whatever, even the excuses are being produced at this very moment. Let's find out. We will go by and find out if anything has any ground. So now, back to the case, right? You mentioned about how those police are selected among the rest of the folks. We'll hold on that subject for a little bit later.
Okay.
But right now, let's find out. In the court process, in one of the defense, the attorney for Deputy Cincinnati says that he was scaring him off when he says the F word while putting the gloves on. Right?
No.
What kind of a ground do you think he has of that kind of defense?
Well, I think any reasonable person who has reviewed the videotape would disagree. It's absolutely dishonest and unethical to make that kind of argument or even defense for that person. I just brought some picture. You can take a look.
Yeah. We can see on the big screen. Yeah, see that?
That's right. You will see that look. This is a harmless person and turned into a piece of meat after 30 minutes of abuses.
And you from that you can tell how many hits he has taken on the same face.
Exactly.
It's only an area about this big. If Kelly Thomas is as fat as I am, well, you know what? You're talking about no more than square foot.
15 minutes non-stop beating.
See?
With fists,
tears,
and clubs. And look at these two police.
If the purpose was not to kill him totally, all right? And the last time we used the word of execution. They wanted to execute him.
That's right.
That's it, on the spot.
For no reason. There's just a few pictures to show that from the video. It was a harmless person in the beginning, and then the police. And
at the end, throughout the whole thing, he was a harmless person.
Exactly. And then try to be the violent part actually coming from the police.
He didn't even fight back, right?
No, not at all.
No.
He tried to run away.
Okay, now back to the defense, right?
Tried to run away.
Back to the defense.
Okay.
The defense says that Officer Cincinnati while putting gloves on and hit him, while at the same time saying this is gonna F you, right?
Yes.
And that is a tactic of scaring him off. Do you think that conforms a defense, or this statement does the statement has any ground?
Not at all.
As attorney.
No. It's absolutely illegal to begin with. Not a single second in the process was legal.
All right.
None.
Okay. Now, then why the question is the big why. The big why, right? I believe those officers, 6 of them, have stayed with the Fullerton PD for quite some time. They are in the service for quite some time.
Yes.
Does that represent some kind of culture?
I think not only in Fullerton, unfortunately, probably throughout the country. I'm sure there are good deputies there, but in most cases you will see complaints. And if you study carefully, you will find the process of selecting or appointing a deputy is too, I would say, perfunctory in a sense.
All right.
Too deficient, because
Okay.
a high school graduate, they chose to join the police academy, you know what kind of quality they are. They were probably already member of the gangs already to begin with, right? And then they chose to join it, and after eight weeks of training, how much can you learn about legal rights, human rights, civil rights, the U.S. Constitution? Nothing.
Let's put it this way. We're not saying
They were
that.
only taught how to use weapons, to abuse people, to use handcuffs.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let's talk about this. So we're talking about the majority of the PD officers are from a good background for information, right? From a good background.
I don't know the majority of minority, but there are always good ones there.
I know, but do they do like a background check before hiring?
I'm sure they do, but most shockingly, recently the LAPD, according to the news report,
LAPD or county sheriff?
Los Angeles.
Or Los Angeles, yes.
They recently hired 280 people, and of the 280 deputies, 200 with negative backgrounds, deficient backgrounds, criminal records, and 20 of them.
You mean among the 280, there are 200?
Yes, we're not qualified. After interview, on the record.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And of the 200, 20 had serious criminal records.
So,
rapes,
hold on.
prostitution.
Yeah, sure. Hold right there. So let me.
They were hiring criminals.
Yeah, let me make it one more time, just for the record of just for my audience, and also for the record. You're saying among the 280 of hirings, there are 200,
Yes.
with the bad background.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I got a goosebump here.
Yes. Out of 280, 200 were already so-called with negative records.
Like what?
Well, they failed the tests, or committed dishonesty, or committed violence on citizens,
All right.
or even committed rapes.
Wow.
All right, prostitutions themselves.
I
Or
see.
engage in part of the gangster criminal rings.
Gang activities.
Absolutely. So how can you justify that?
All right. Okay.
And actually, only the gang people, gang members will hire the gang members, right?
I don't
And
know.
it actually,
I don't know.
Maybe in some they were so welcome.
Okay. Yeah. I like to do my consideration in a much sober mind. Okay. So help me if I'm wrong. All right. Now, if among 280, the number is 20, we might say, yeah, it's kind of a neglect, right? Another word is only less than 10%, right?
I disagree, because you're talking about law enforcement. You're giving them power to.
All right,
right?
you're even putting a higher.
Not even 1%.
Sure. You're even putting up a higher standard. You're supposed to make sure
0%.
That the people, taxpayers hiring to protect themselves must be 100%.
Absolutely.
Background
weapons.
clean. Background clean.
Yes.
Not even 10% of them.
No.
0%
tolerance.
Okay, now, I can probably bring this to my audiences. Upon hiring, I mean, when the taxpayers put up the money to hire police officers to protect them. There are two standards. Standard number one, you have to make sure, one, they are 100% right. Then there must be not even 1% of background check failure. In other words, all 280 has to be good people. Okay. Secondly, is that we can lose a little bit and say, hey, how about like say 5 or 10%, right? So I'll let my audience choose, right? If you have your statement to make, or if you can even vote, so tell me, say Jack at edimediainc.com, or you can send it to tellmydj@gmail.com. We will put your numbers together and let my audiences know. So this is absolutely out of question. You're saying, right?
I just want to also make some modification here. Not even 1% in a sense, because those 200 people admitted wrongdoings on the record, on public records, in the interviewing paper and file process.
I see.
And they still admitted those people. That's why I say not even 1%. If you say that 1% cracks or negligence, that means the person is lying, you did not notice. But in this case, they all admitted wrongdoings.
Yeah, they put it
in writing.
They put it in writing on
Absolutely,
the application
they admitted in the interviewing
paper.
process and still got admitted. That's why I said not even 1%.
See, they were still accepted.
Absolutely. They ignored.
How could things go that wrong? I mean, how could we go that much?
The only, I was sarcastic maybe, explanation is maybe the person that conducting the interview or hiring, they are part of the criminal rings.
All right.
They welcome the people back, right?
Well, anyway, there might be some better answers. Let's hope so. But let's take a short moment out. When we come back, let's find out if there is any better answer, or could there be any answer, because we can always, by doing logic check, right? Doing logic check. If we check by all logic possibilities, putting all the logic factors into the basket of consideration, can we find any better explanation? If not, and then what he says, his conclusion. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I challenge the situation. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the discussion about policing. As a matter of fact, it is a especially good moment when we are talking about discrimination, when we are seeing the eulogy for Mr. Mandela. Well, it reminds us about, is there any discrimination around us? Is discrimination gone forever? No. On the contrary, it's still here. And it's getting stronger and stronger, and it is getting legalized, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong if I did, but well, you have to convince me I'm wrong. Otherwise, let's continue the discussion, all right? Joining me in the discussion is my good friend, Mr. Weil Zhang, attorney at law, a wonderful attorney at the law, and also a wonderful candidate for the school board district of Roland High. And we try to dissect the case of Kelly Thomas, who was beaten to death in the city of Fullerton by 6 officers of Fullerton PD on the July night of 2011. Right now, the case is being heard on the juror court basis. Now, from that, we stretch ourselves to a point about the recent scandal about the police hiring that happens with LA County Sheriff, right? Okay, now he's bringing us the story about among 280 hirings, new hires, they were hired. They were hired already, right? There were 200 failed with the background check. And even the failures with the background check were also taken past their line, becoming officers. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm scared. So among 280, you are hiring 200 with bad record. You mentioned about stealing.
Yes, actually, what worries me is I'm sure that's not the first instance. It has been ongoing, I'm sure, in the system, in the culture. You know, they absorb their own people
I see.
of the same character, or same background, criminal backgrounds. Even assuming that they are right, but just consider another thing. We should really go beyond Kerry Thomas this case, because even let's say we prosecute those three, we put them in jail. Even let's say we penalize with death penalty.
Yeah.
So what? You kill 3 policemen, but the culture of the system is still defective.
Still there, yes.
What we should really is go beyond, rise to the occasion, and find out how we can solve the problem. Why? Because, for example, right now, the way you produce a police, after 8 weeks of training, after a graduate from high school, you give them what? Weapon, handcuffs, uniform.
And the license to kill.
License to kill.
Yeah. And the
Just
license
tell
to
me,
kill.
a law school student takes minimum 3 years after a college graduate to learn about law, how to respect human rights, right? Civil rights, constitutional rights. But here in this case, a police spent 8 weeks actually learning how to use weapons in most cases, right? How to use handcuffs.
All right.
They don't even
How
have
about-
time. They don't even have the fundamental basis to understand
How about
what the
police-
law is.
How
And
about-
how can they allow them to become so-called law enforcement person? How can they even enforce the law?
How about police academies?
There's a police academy.
Yeah.
8 weeks.
No. Oh, this 8 weeks
Yes.
of police academy, that's all?
That's all, according to my research.
Oh, that's all?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's ridiculous.
That's totally out of hand.
In
That's
some
totally
cases,
out of hand.
you don't even go through the police academy.
Okay, now let me still try to
That was really shocking.
Yeah, let me still try to lead the discussion my way.
Okay.
Of saying that if there's any better answer than bad people with a bad concept hiring bad people, we may get to a conclusion that it is right. Or if there is any better solution, say, oh yeah, that's a negligence at work, so that they were accidentally hired. So do you think there could be an accident?
No.
Accidentally of that wrong hiring?
I think it's a long established, long tolerated, corrupt system here.
All right.
You have to go really into the root, deep into the root, all right? Whether or not we really need a policeman to begin with now.
What if I
Why
say...
can't we hire just a regular security company?
What if I say, if these 200 who were with a criminal background just lied on the paper, they didn't put
Admit
anything... Yeah, no, I know. They didn't put it in writing on the application. They can say, yeah, that was their problem because they lied to us and we were shorting hands. We did not have time to investigate each single person.
No, they didn't admit.
That could be, right?
They admitted it on the
They
paper.
admitted on the paper
And still got hired.
that what year, what month, what day I raped somebody,
Yes.
right? What year, what month, what day I robbed somewhere, some shops, right? Like that kind.
Yes.
And then they were admitted.
Yes.
That comes only one conclusion: the system is wrong. Otherwise, I'm lost.
Absolutely.
So what can we do?
Well, I think we should really change the culture, change the system, change the hiring process, whether or not we really need that kind of police academy, police. Or we actually
Now
should
that the
hire
problem-
a regular security company.
Sure. Why now that the problem is exposed, are they still going on with the 280 of hirings, or they are redo the work?
No, it just uncovered recently. That means actually it's been ongoing in the past.
That means the 280 is still
Absolutely.
there.
Before that must be ongoing in many other areas too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
Just tell me who would like to join the police academy.
yeah. That
If
is
you
a,
are a good student,
If that
you
is
graduate,
true.
you apply to college, correct? And
Even if that is very true,
you become a professional.
No. I'm not saying that joining the police force is not a bad job.
No, I don't say it's a bad job.
It's a good job.
In
it's a good
practice,
job. Yeah,
that's how it happens.
It's a good job, of course.
Yes.
You got to pick up the good kids or the bright kids.
Oh, I'm sure they're always good deputies.
Positive people to do that job.
Yes.
So, in this case, now we're trying to find out why Kelly Thomas was killed. Now the answer is obvious. So this is why Kelly Thomas was killed.
Absolutely.
They were criminals at the time they were hired. Anyway, at least they have a criminal mind, right? A criminal concept. Otherwise, an officer, while exercising his duty, he wouldn't need a F word to F people. I don't think so. Totally, from the bottom of their mind, something is wrong, right? Do you think so?
The entire process was wrong. Even after the fact, they tried to hide and keep the video from the public for more than a year.
No, not only that, they offered all the 6 officers to watch the radio so that each of them modified their statement.
Exactly. That itself is criminal.
And the chief himself viewed all the statement that is done in such a way and let them redo it.
Yes.
To the way he wanted.
Exactly.
Is this himself is a criminal?
Of course.
The case?
It's
This
abetting,
obstruction of justice.
Yes. And even after Kelly Thomas
faking evidence.
Yes.
Right?
Died. And those criminal deputies were still put on so-called the front desk. So we're not doing the field work. It's unbelievable with that kind of internal toleration of criminal conduct.
And they were put on what? On the
desk work.
On the leave.
And after that,
on the leave with pay.
Even
like
before
that, right?
the leave for pay, they still were put on the desk job.
Yeah, desk job. Okay,
it's unbelievable. And what about the other 3 have not been prosecuted?
Because they're still.
What about the other 3? They could just stand by
out there. Of course.
They did not stand by initially yet. They came in and stood by. Then they joined and gang up on each other.
Exactly.
There's a participation of ongoing criminal conduct.
So what happened was that 2 officers started hitting first.
Yes.
Right. Then they were short of hands, realized, and then they called for.
They were not shorted. More than enough.
They called for augmentation. Another 4 came as augmentation reinforcement, and all the 6 started beating. Right. So
there was no resistance. Why do you need more support? All right, when additional police came, they should have said enough, because it was more than enough to show there was excessive forces.
They want more to join the fun.
They gang on each other.
Yeah, they gang on each other.
And clubbing one after the other, tasering constantly.
All right.
He's saying that could not breathe.
The face, as you can see, is almost cooked. It doesn't look like a human face to me.
No, a piece of meat.
Yeah, doesn't look like human face to me.
Meat.
So, if these officers,
he couldn't breathe.
And these officers, if they have any mind of being a human, just say, if you try to kill a dog that way, right?
I'm sure that this program will put up good picture to show that these 2 deputies,
it's on the big screen.
They look actually more criminal than the victim. Just look at themselves.
Look at the sizes.
Yes. Big, huge.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah. So
there's a gross disparity.
My whole point is that as taxpayer, I believe that you guys are like myself, or taxed to the bone. As a taxpayer who are taxed to the bones, when you learn information like this, when you see cases like this, when you learn information about the hiring, do you think you lose your mind? Or do you think you create something from the bottom of your heart of distrust?
You know, this is a very unfortunate bureaucracy, corruption being inherited and tolerated by the public. I think at some point, the public, the taxpayer,
What can an attorney do?
should rise. Well, I think this obviously is a violation of his federal rights, all right, similar to the other candidate.
This case is right there.
And
We
it's
believe.
not being prosecuted. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's being prosecuted in the state court. I think the parents should really initiate a federal proceeding
All right.
against the city, at least against the deputies.
Yes.
It's a violation of the civil rights. All right? It's a different issue.
And also,
I have no
they
trust
can sue
and
the
no
city.
faith in the
They
state
can sue the
proceeding.
city.
That's why they're suing the city. But the DA, when he make the first press release, he said, oh, due to an altercation between the deputies and the victim. I look at the video, there was no altercation. No confrontation. It
No
was
confrontation, yes.
a provocation, ongoing provocation by the two deputies.
Yeah. All
And
right.
by physical force.
Yeah, sure. All right. Exactly. All right. Now,
How can you trust the system?
the problem is that nowadays, with the cameras like this that takes every second of the incident, people still lying. That indicates something is totally wrong. And people still covering, trying to cover what's being conducted, what crime is being committed, that totally says something's wrong. When you face a situation upon hiring among 280 of new hire police officers, there are 200 with the criminal background, I'd say the system is totally wrong. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you care about the quality of your life, if you care about the quality of your protection, which you pay with your tax money, you must like this show. You must join me in the discussion. You must join me in the fight against what I believe to be wrong. A Kelly Thomas case ever happened on July the 5th in 2011. On 2009, this show started following the case step by step. I have committed, put together almost no less than 20 shows, I feel counting them, about the same case, trying to follow with the situation as it develops. So today, with Mr. Wild Zhang, I'm doing another one to follow with the juror trial right now. It's the third day or fourth day of the juror hearing. So now, we still pin our hopes on the final decision, final verdict. The juror will convict them. But the problem is that exactly like Mr. Wild Zhang says, that why among 6 officers who were on the site committed a crime, only 3 were prosecuted. Do you think, as attorney, later the other 3 will still be prosecuted, or they can be exempted from being prosecuted?
They should, but I'm not sure they will, given the current system.
But you can go federal, right?
Federal is only a civil. It's not a criminal proceeding.
All right. For criminal proceeding, though, if they really want to nail the rest 3, though, as attorney, what do you think they can do?
Unfortunately, the way the criminal law is structured in this country, only the DA can initiate a proceeding in a criminal case.
If DA
Not
change
an
their
individual.
mind,
Individual can only start a civil proceeding for
all right,
damages.
good. If the folks, right? If the citizen, we the people, call it that way. If we the people keep on saying the same thing we're saying now, would the DA change their mind to prosecute 6 instead of 3?
It's possible.
Possible.
Don't forget the Rodney King case. But for the fact that President Bush at that time rose and said we have to do something, I don't believe there will be any federal prosecution either.
I see. All right. And let's voice out. And I still recall the Rodney King case, and later on the LA right?
Yes.
Right? Of course, that was related.
Yes.
That was the cause of it, right? Okay, now, so if there was not the, I don't know if I'm right to say this or not, if there had not been the riot, if there had not been the videotaping, the case wouldn't be.
I agree, 100%.
Wouldn't be ending like that,
No.
right? And even now, at this very year of 2013, early this year, Rodney King was dead, was pronounced dead, was found dead at the bottom of his pool, all right?
Yes.
You know, one of the radio broadcasts, when reporting the news, if you find the mood while reporting, you will know the hate was still there. Bottom of the pool, right? All right. That's a good way to end with, or something like that. I can't recall the exact wording, but that was the mood. That was the rough phrase. That was the bottom of the pool. Ha 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 ha. That is a good way, something to end of a life, something like that.
Oh,
that was the
condescending.
Yeah, that was the exact thing that happened right in front of us. That happens with one of the major radio programs in Southern California. So now, many things indicate discrimination is still there. Am I right?
Yes, and police brutality too.
Police brutality is still there.
Yes.
In Pasadena. Oh, yes. Are you familiar with the Pasadena case?
No.
Okay. In Pasadena, okay, same case happened of the same nature last year. 6 kills within about 1 month time. That was what happening. Okay. Guy was running away from police, and he got bullets from the back of his head.
Oh my God.
All right. And the person that I know, because the mother of the victim was invited on my show, she was sitting just exactly where you were sitting. Her son, on 3 days 3 days after he celebrated his 18th birthday, and night says that, Mom, I need to go out with my kids, with my friends for a little bit. Yeah, that was 9:30 something, and 10:30 learned that the son was killed. What happened was that he was driving a car approaching into a parking lot. It's an open parking lot to the public. It's a public parking lot. There's no police tapes or whatever, no warning and no signs. Some kind of investigation was being conducted on the spot that he drove in.
Oh.
There is no sign, no warning, and no indication of anything. And he was shot. 16 bullets went through from left arm all the way, slant, in an angle like this. Yeah, sliced from 9 o'clock the direction all the way through him. And the defense saying that they shot in self-defense. When you defend yourself from the side of the object, okay, now, of course, that case they lost, right? That's why they paid, well, several million, maybe 5 million something, or 3 or 5 million, I don't recall the exact number, but in the long run.
But unfortunately, it's paid by the taxpayers, including the mother.
That's my money, your money.
Absolutely,
right?
That's why.
Including poor mother.
So
right?
they don't care.
Yeah. The good part is, the part that makes me proud is that I invited her at a moment when the case was so blurred. There's no future.
Oh.
All right, I foresaw it. I knew something was wrong. From what? From one logic analysis that if you shoot people self-defensing, the bullet should go in from the front side rather than the left arm. Am I right?
100%.
So for that, the mother was here. I still recall that the first segment was started here without a box of tissue. And the second segment, I asked my assistant to bring a box of tissue here because we both were crying. Mom says,
that's why I respect
yeah, Mom says, well, my only son. No money, no kind of money of any size can get my son back to me. And he was only 18 years old. What has he done? Has he seen something he was not supposed to see? That's why they kill him? Or otherwise what?
Jack,
like that guy.
One thing I really share with you, I admire you. That's why whenever you call me, I'm always available because we share the same concern, all right? The same demands for justice from the society. But just unfortunately, you should know that even the criminal deputies, they are being defended by public funds. Can you believe it?
I don't know what to say.
And then
I don't know what to say.
I just heard the recent press release by one of the defense attorneys saying that, yes, we finally had the chance to review the videotape. Actually, the tape helps defense because it shows it was justified to use the excessive force. Can you believe that kind of argument?
I don't know.
The video justifies.
Just right there.
Exactly.
Just right there.
Actually, the video that justifies, and that's
justifies, right?
Yes. That's
And
the disease.
it's the same. It's the same case.
The country is sick.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the same logic. The same logic. The defense says that while he puts his gloves on, saying the F word, and then beat him, that was a tactic.
Because they said that video helps.
That was a tactic to scare him off.
Yes.
Right now, do you scare him off by actually hitting them? Okay, such as this case.
Running away.
Such as the kid case, right? Oh, by the way, his name is Zach Champomier. I recall the last name, which is so hard to pronounce so exactly. Zach Champomier, killed on the 4th day after his 18th birthday for doing nothing, right? So if that can stand, the 16 bullets going through sideways can stand too. If both of the case can stand, where do we, the people, stand? Here's my question.
I think that's why the system has to be
as
changed.
taxpayers,
the law has to be changed. We cannot waste public funds to defend those people.
Sure, and also
we cannot use public funds to pay for damages.
Very sorry for insertion, right? If you hire 200 among bad guys among 280 hirings, how are you saying that taxpayers are protected?
No.
Even not robbed.
Why do we need such a system even to exist? Costing our not only money, costing our freedom, costing our liberty, costing our life.
Yeah, so that's the problem. But anyway, to wrap it up, I, at the show of the host at the GNE TV, I'm still call myself at least optimistic. Because we have our Constitution, because the Constitution is so deep in our mind, to a certain extent, people will rise. You wait and see, right? So positive things will show up. Even in the PD officers, within the PD enforcement, there are many good officers. They will rise. They will rise to go against the wrongdoings. That is our hope. So let's keep on being taxpayer. In other words, let's keep on paying tax. All right. Let's keep our fingers crossed for the best. So that's the only thing I can do. What can you recommend us?
I will recommend the audience to respond to Jack's request to say that based on your personal experience dealing with police in the past, whether you think the police in this country is good or bad, and that's the best way to do a survey.
To give them
Tell our host
sure
through your email or telephone calls and say that based on my experience, the police is good or bad.
All right. Okay, once again, Jack at edimediainc.com. Jack, my name, at EDI Media, the organization this studio belongs to. Jack at edimediainc.com is the way to go. All right. So, to my audience, I'm sorry that sometimes you get emotional. No, I call it a passion, okay? Just call it a passion. No, forget the word emotion. Emotion is not the correct one to describe myself. No, passion. To be passionate is always a good thing, all right? Sorry for a moment of getting excited, but to get to the truth, though, it takes something. That's the price we have to pay, that's the price, right? To my friend, Mr. Wild Zhang, thank you so much for coming for the show, for your caring about the case, for advocating what's right. So, to my audience, thank you very much.
Thank you.